First is down at the 22 Alex Job Racing pits.
And as Alex Job told us, Jerome Blecker-Mullen staying in for the duration, they would have back-timed this to figure out when they needed to fuel for their last pit stop. And they're also going to give Jerome some fresh rubber to go out there and do battle with any of those other GTC drivers that may catch them. They've been working, but they are a little bit delayed there on the left rear tire. Costly couple of seconds there for Jerome, but he's back out on pit lane.
I think the GTCs have been a great battle again and have been a fabulous addition to the American Le Mans series, bringing on all kinds of talent, both in teams, engineers, drivers, and indeed sponsors. And oh, now there's Charlie Cook, and he's talking to Brad Kettler of Audi. Charlie Cook on the right, the official. On the left is Brad Kettler, and he's the hand signals there suggesting what is sparking on the ground and what's hitting. Chris Neville is down there earwigging on that conversation, so let's see if we can get something a little bit more of the detail.
Well, actually, I think it was a pretty good conversation, because I just spoke with Charlie as he pulled away, and he said that Brad told him that that plank underneath the car is fastened to the floor with metal bobbins, and those bobbins are actually recessed into the plank, and he said because of the damage on there, that plank has been dragging on the road and it's worn away enough, so now those metal bobbins are actually bouncing off the pavement. Charlie Cook kind of looked and said, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, that's great officiating, isn't it? And that's the way it should be. Have a dialogue, make sure everything's okay. It's not a safety issue. There's no rules being broken there. Brad Kettler's, you know, he's been around the block a few times, as says Charlie. Charlie's not going to have the wool pulled over his eyes. He's one of the most experienced officials there are.
Yeah, both those guys have a great understanding of how these cars work, and they've both worked together for a long time, so I'm sure there's a lot of respect there and trust in what Brad's telling Charlie.
Are you missing not being out there this year, Pat? Missing all the build-up and the atmosphere?
I'll tell you what, this morning before the race, it was a little bit different. First time in a decade that I wasn't pulling the helmet on, but Dario, myself, Jurg's here. We've been out seeing all the fans on the corners. We went to turn 10, turn 13. So we've had a whole different perspective on what the Sebring 12 Hours is about and why this race is so iconic from the fan standpoint. So we've enjoyed it, but yeah, personally, I look forward to getting back in the car next year.
At Jayhawk Brian J says at Specutainment on Twitter, ask Pat if he'd ever like the chance to drive one of those Audis just once for fun. You can answer that after we've heard from Kelly down at this Corvette pit stop.
And it looks like he's cut about 10 seconds out of that lead. When we talked to Ollie Gavin after he got out, the gap was about 36 seconds. It was 26 before Tommy came down to make this pit stop and get his new Michelin tires so he can get back out there and try to close that gap some more. We heard Ollie Gavin said he thinks they can get it done on the track. But certainly having a good, speedy, quick pit stop like that doesn't hurt.
Yeah, change your tyres there. So, Pat, go out in one of the Audis just for fun?
Yeah, I mean, for a test, it's always low pressure and easy, but I know it's a very different car to drive. Obviously, Timo and Romain, who are Porsche drivers, Romain Dumas and Timo Bernhard, have been over on loan to Audi for the last few years and have great success, and they tell us a lot about how the cars are to drive. But I've been pretty happy where I'm at driving the 911, and of course, the 3 years that I spent in the RS Spider was a great insight into what prototype racing is all about. But I found my home in GT at this point.
There is an LMP coming from Porsche, and I mean, do you look at that having been part of the last Porsche LMP program? Is there an opportunity for Pat Long to get involved with that?
We'll see. It depends where that car races and how the program develops, but at this point, head down full-time in Rolex and ALMS right now.
Let's go down to Jamie in the Reese pits, last pit stop.
And Jimmy Bruni is getting out of the car. They're doing a driver change. I just ran it down here, so I didn't have a chance to see who's getting in the car. But I would imagine that it'd be Olivier Beretta. Looks like a perfectly standard pit stop, 4 new Michelin tires and fuel.
Well, I'm surprised the change in drivers. I thought Jimmy Bruni would have been good to go for the final 2 hours of the race. He'd only just got in at the last pit stop, but Olivier Beretta got out last time around, so by the general order of things, it would be Matteo Malicelli who would get into the car now, and certainly judging by the stint he did in the middle of the race, I would be surprised if it wasn't Malicelli now. He did a fantastic job, but now the pressure is really going to be on because the Corvette has been inching closer and closer and closer.
And also at the front of the field, Tom Christensen has the lead to Ollie Jarvis, down to just 7.25 tenths. Oof. There's the Corvette out there with the radar screen. And there are our class leaders. Pat, thanks very much for being with us. Good luck with core racing and the GT programme. And we'll hopefully talk to you again in a race suit at Master Raceway Laguna Seca.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers, mate. More racing from Sebring coming up next. Still got 54.5 minutes to go, and there's plenty of class and the overall still to be won.
Make sure you join the High Speed Television channel this Monday, March the 18th, for a double dose of the best drift competition in the world. At 7:05, it's off to Japan for round 6 of the D1 Professional Drift GP Series, followed by the latest round of the US Formula Drift Championship from Irwindale, California. The world's best enduro riders compete in the FIM Super Enduro World Championship. Make sure you join Motors TV for this unique indoor motorcycle competition from the French city of Tours. Tuesday, March the 19th, beginning at 7:55 in the evening. From Formula One to NASCAR and every form of motor racing in between, there's one programme that keeps the motor racing fans up to speed. Make sure you join Motors TV for the next instalment of The Grid, Wednesday, March the 20th from 8:20 in the evening. The Welsh Lake District will come alive to the sounds of the UK's top rally teams.
Jeremy Shaw and John Hindhoff taking you through to the checkered flag in 52 minutes or thereabouts. It's not exactly, remember, we've gone as far as 4 minutes over here before. It just depends how the leaders cross the line. I seem to remember some iconic GT battles being a lap or so further than the whole 12 hours. You pay for the 12 hours, we gave you 12 hours and 4 minutes at least one year. And Jeremy, there's still plenty to race for here in more than the odd category. Tom Christensen got within a second. He's now at 1.2. You get the feeling that there's, I'm not going to say no love lost, but certainly a very high competitive spirit between the two Audis at the front of the field.
No question. There's 6 professional racing car drivers here. They all want to win the race. They want it particularly with a Rolex watch and the prestige of the Sebring 12 hours of Sebring. You know, this is one they definitely want to put on their resumes. Tom Christensen and Alan McNish, they've done it again and again and again. Luca Figrassi hasn't. He doesn't have a chance to really influence this now because he's not going to get it behind the wheel of that number 2 car again. But for Benoit Trullier and Oliver Jarvis on Marcel Fessler, they want to get this win under their belts. They would love nothing more to win this race, and they're in a very good position right now. But you can see the gap between the two of them is not very much at all, less than 2 seconds, and they've been pretty much marking time with each other the last few laps.
A number of people spotting Jimmy Bruni limping out of the car, including Pat Long before he disappeared out of the booth, and thanks to Michael Sorensen for spotting that as well. So it could be that maybe a cramp or something like that has affected Jimmy and they've decided to take him out. We should notice, we should mention as well that according to LMS Regulations 13.2, the skid block is not checked at the end of the race.
Isn't it? Oh.
No. Amazingly. So effectively, and thanks to race car engineer Sam Collins for this, once you've got the race done, you actually don't need the plank at all. You can dispense with
wow.
it.
That's interesting. Okay.
That's it's quite. The underbody plank has to have an initial thickness of 20 mil, and a maximum wear of 5 is permitted on the skid block, but not necessarily the underbody plank. So there are places on it that you've got to be careful with. Clearly. Thanks, Sam Collins, for that.
Much, Sam. That's good.
And great stuff on the Formula One preview. This was the Aussies getting close together just a couple of moments ago with with Ben Trullier, and was that a touch there from Christensen? I think it was. Just hello, I'm here. This is your teammate.
Yeah, Brendan Trullier.
Did he get through? Look at this. Oh, then he gets blocked. He was in the lead for about 5 feet. Wow, that is really close stuff. That just underlines what we were talking about.
Absolutely, working your way through the traffic and being patient. And
this is on board Christensen's car. That was a touch, Jeremy.
They each got a bit of a taste of the medicine there, because both of them got blocked at one time or another. And you know, hats off there to Jan Halen, the number 11 guy. He just kept his racing line through there. He did exactly what he should have done. He didn't alter his line to try and get out of the way, because that's always what causes disaster. So we've got this great battle going on at the front of the field. In PC, the gap between the first two is down to under 10 seconds. In GT, the gap is now down to less than 14 seconds. So Tommy Milner is charging along and trying to reduce that deficit to Malucelli, and he's doing it in a remarkably strong way at the moment. Still with 48 minutes to go in this race, plenty of time.
And Damien Faulkner leads GTC again in the 66 Racers Group car ahead of Blakemore by just 15 seconds, and that's coming down as well with Spencer Pumpelly just another 11 seconds further back in the 45 Flying Lizard. So that one isn't over either. So there's none of the classes that you could honestly say are home and hosed, maybe apart from P2 where level 5 have got it wrapped up. 551 is a full lap ahead of 552 now, and as 551 is the car that Scott Tucker will score points in, I can't see that changing any time soon. And they've got 4 laps on Eric Lux, who's still at the wheel of the 41 Zytek Nissan in 3rd position. Neil Yarney and Klaus Straff are a lap. Let's find out if there's any problem with the car. Jimmy Bruni had to get out early. Jamie's with him.
It is a big vote of confidence for Matteo Malucelli to get in the car right to the checkered flag in his first race with the team and in the United States. Jimmy Bruni was meant to finish out this race for the number 62 car, but you're not up to par as a driver. What's going on right now?
No, the car is running very well, and I had a little bit of back problem. I couldn't feel really the right legs, so I preferred to stop at 50 minutes to go and put Matteo in the car. It was consistent to the other stint, so I'm sure he's doing a great job.
How difficult is it as a driver when you're supposed to take the car to the checkered flag to put that faith in someone else?
It's okay. We are a team. We are winning together. We are losing together. I trust him. He trusts me. So I'm sure it will be okay.
We all know it's a team sport. We're getting to the closing stages of the race. Can the car make it without another pit stop?
I think the car is running well, and Matteo is great, so I hope he's going to bring the car home.
Not giving away any strategy secrets down here at Risi, guys.
No, but I reckon all of the GT cars can make it to the end. Now, they've been doing just about 1 hour stints. They made their last pit stops for the number 4 car was with 58 minutes to go in the race. It was at 9:45. The number 62 car came in 1 lap later, so that should absolutely have no problem whatsoever. It'll be a bit tighter for the Corvette, but the last couple of stints, they managed just about an hour, a little bit over an hour on their stint, so it'll be tight, but they should be good. And another 2 seconds taken off by Tommy Milner that time around.
Yeah, and Tommy Milner took 10 seconds out of the Ferrari on his out lap. When he went out of the pits, he was 10 seconds quicker. He did a 3:05, and the Malucelli Ferrari did a 3:15, and
that could be something to do with where they are in the pits. Yeah, and where they crossed the timing line. But having said that, yes, he was certainly significantly faster on the outlap, and again, down to experience, I would suggest. Tommy Milner's done this race a large number of times, and Malucelli hasn't. And when you come out here, out of the pit lane in the dark here at Sebring, unlike at some other racetracks where we race at night, particularly at someone like Daytona, there's a lot of floodlights there. There's a lot of the track is lit up. Not the case here at Sebring, and the reference points, as Tristan Nunez was telling you yesterday, are pretty tricky to find.
A huge story brewing for US endurance racing, says Daily Sports Car. And, well, we'll have to keep our eyes on that in the next few days. Midweek Motorsport on Wednesday. See if we can throw some light on that. There are some spectacular rumours about new cars, and by new cars I mean new categories of cars or classifications of cars, new versions of current classifications, should I say, that would be better, that are going around at the moment, that we're going to try and get some quotes on for you, that would certainly shake things up.
That battle in PC seems to have stabilised now. Kyle Marcelli, having been a little bit slower than David Ostella, has equalised the pace there. That gap has been around about 10 seconds between the first two cars in PC now for quite a long time. So Kyle Marcelli really stepped up to the plate there for the Bar 1 Motorsport team and is holding that lead. David Ostella, with the problem he had just after that last pit stop, I think, or whenever it was a little while ago. He was looking to be in control of the race, but has slipped back now into second place. He's about 10 seconds behind. Tristan Nunez, he also must have had some sort of a problem. He lost at least, I would say, half a minute, if not more than that. And he is now about 1 minute and 20 seconds behind Ostella, third place in that class.
Laura Pritchard has tweeted me at Specutainment saying she's been watching the 97 car, and up until the last lap it's been consistently quick as or quicker than the cars at the head of the GT field, in the hands of Bruno Senna at the moment. And in fact, I think that car still has the best GT lap from earlier on in the race, the 97 Aston Martin. It's in 7th, 8th position in GT at the moment, albeit some laps down, in fairness. Another little off moment there for one of the Audis. Yeah, that was Christensen again, wasn't it?
Wow,
he's trying.
She's right. That number 97 Aston Martin, that has been the quickest car pretty much all race long. But it was I think it was an 18-lap deficit it had at one stage.
Change of radiator after being involved in someone else's accident. Punctured the radiator. Darren brought it in. They changed the whole unit. David Richards was here with us talking about that, and thanks for his and in fact all of our guests popping in today. It's really made the afternoon and evening go very quickly, and we've had some splendid comments and some great guests, so thank you very much indeed to all of them for popping in. It's been nice having a little stream of visitors, hasn't it, Jeremy?
Yes. Something else to look at, John.
Damien Faulkner lapping in 2:10. That's not the sort of times we might expect from Damo. It's 8 seconds now to Blake and Molan. We're hearing there may be brake problems for that 66 car. So is Damien Faulkner going to be robbed of another chance to win a watch?
Oh, we heard from Kevin Buckley, didn't we, the last pit stop for that number 66 car, that they were marginal on their brake wear. They had some rear calipers there on the pit wall in case. It's not if they have to change anything like that, of course, any hopes of victory is going to go down the tubes. But Blekemolen now, Jerome Blekemolen in that number 22 car for Alex Job Racing, is homing in on that lead.
Into the pits, the ESM Patron sponsored P2 car, and that is that must be the 01 car. Yes, it is. It's the 02 car. I've just got two to pick from. He picks the wrong one. It's Johannes van Overbeek, still actually in 4th position in P2, of course, although down some 15 laps or so on the down some 11 laps or so on the leader, in 14th position overall.
They must have got the 01 car back out as well. They had a long stop, didn't it? Was it input shaft or something? It was something.
That's what major, I thought it was a gearbox input shaft was what they said. Yes, David Brabham was towed back, weren't they?
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought they could have replaced that, but whatever it was, I think that car's back in the race. It's sort of 50 odd laps down, so if they can maintain that, that should be good enough to make sure they score championship points for that 01 car of Scott Sharp and Guy Cosmo, who will do the entire season. David Brabham joining that team as well for this race. Pit stops also for the third place cars. Neil Jarni number 12 and Taos Graffin number 6 are shown as on the same lap at the moment as they come into, as they're both on pit lane. to wait till they both get back out again to see what the differential is between those two.
Sounds of the GM Chevy Corvettes. Right, let's head back to GTC. There's Damien Faulkner, the affable Irishman, is in defence mode now. The car, once again, Damien gets himself into these fantastic positions, and he and the team have done really well today. Hard 3/4 of the race distance they were there, but problems for the 66 car, and Jerome Blake-Molen has cut Damien's lead down to just 6.5 seconds. Andrew Marriott has more.
Yeah, I just spoke to Kevin Buckler. Kevin Buckler tells me that they do have this major brake problem. The pads are down virtually to the metal, and what he's decided to do is try and hang on, but he says we can't really respond now, but it will just take us too long to try and change the pads, so they're just hoping that something else will happen. So big disappointment, Damien Faulkner, super driver from Ireland, so we'll just have to see how that works out in the next few minutes, but I suspect he's going to lose the lead.
Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, he's on the brakes super early then. He'd be throttling off. You just can't, you don't have the confidence when things like that happen. Seeing a huge amount of heat on the front of the car. And there is the second place car, the Alex Job Racing WeatherTech car. Ironically, Damien Faulkner's personal sponsor is WeatherTech. He's raced with Cooper McNeil before, who has the connections to the company. And indeed, he's raced as a teammate with Jerome Blake-Molen as well, and these two will be battling out for first and second in less than a lap, or certainly at the start of the next lap. And I don't think Damien's got anything to fight. Spencer Pumpelly is only 37 seconds back from Damien at the moment, and could it be as cruel to knock Damien down from first to third? Is he seeing another Rolex watch being snatched away from underneath his nose, Jeremy?
Yeah, really. It would be heartbreaking, certainly for Damien, but they've both driven extremely fine races. Both of those teams have done a super job all the way through, in the TRG car also, the Flying Lizard car also of Spencer Pumpelly charging along in third place. They've all had really strong runs. A couple of battles to talk about in PC. David Ostello has put the hammer down again. He's turned some consistent 1:57 laps lately. He's got that gap down to Kyle Marcelli in the number 8 car, down to less than 6 seconds. In the meantime, it's still Tristan Nunez who's been the quickest car on a track in PC, but he is now in for his final pit stop of the evening, and I'm pretty sure that the other two cars will be in shortly behind him.
Okay. It's gone up to 4 seconds nearly at the head of the field, Trelliway and Christensen. The Michelin aerial camera giving us the great view of this battle at the head of the GTC field, as Damien Faulkner has traffic to go by, and there from the onboard, that's Damien Faulkner on the right hand side from the onboard of the number 1 Audi. And as they come down to the braking area for 7, this is where Damien is vulnerable. Where is the second place car? There he is, and the pass has happened.
One driver that was supposed to be competing in GTC this weekend was Sasha Mawson. He is sick with the flu and not out there today, but he did say something very interesting about doing this race in the GTC category. He is a 4-time class winner here at Sebring, but he said this is the fairest way of motorsport. Every advantage you gain in GTC is because you did something better, whether it was the prep of the car, the drivers, the pit work. He said you have to first not lose this race in order to win it. So while it is unfortunate that TRG is holding on by a thread in the closing stages of the race, that's what this kind of racing is all about. You can't lose it in order to win it. It's about being the strongest all the way to the end.
Yeah, fair point. And in that big wash of headlights as they were coming down towards us at turn 7, Damien Faulkner had lost the lead. And now Jeremy, he's just got, in fact, the sparks coming off when he's braking, and look at the difference now, how much less red those brake pads are. He's trying not to use them. He'll be throttling back a little bit earlier, changing his lines a little bit. Let's look down from the Michelin aerial camera at this pass. It's the second of the two cars. Look how early he had to get out of the throttle. He was down the inside trying to defend, but with no brake friction material left, he just can't get that car stopped. It's really very difficult. I can't imagine how frustrating it must be for Damien, but he's keeping the car on the road and doing a cracking job doing it. But there was no defending there, Jeremy.
No, there wasn't. You're absolutely right. And poor Damien's kind of a sitting duck there. As we heard, all he can do now is hope that he can last it somehow, get through another half an hour. That's an awful big ask, I would say, for Damien Faulkner to bring that number 66 car home with no brakes for the final half hour of the race and not lose any more positions. Meanwhile, at the front, we saw the two Audis battling away not so long ago. Well, Brendan Trillier has pulled out a 4-second advantage now over 2K, Tom Christensen. Here's another look here. Ooh, some contact there. That's Malucelli forcing his way past.
It's a 44,
yep.
The Imperatori driven car.
Sixth place car in GTC as a leader in GT goes past, and the gap between the first two in GT is down to 5.5 seconds, and in PC it's just a little over 6 seconds between the first two cars. Number 8 and 52 in PC, the 62 and the 4 in GT. Fabulous stuff. Good lap there for Manucelli as he's fighting his way through there. He turned a 2:01.8 last time around, actually made up a few tenths of a second on Tommy Milner. A little over 6 seconds now, that gap. Meanwhile, the gap between the first two in GT is just about 5 seconds even that time around. Milner closed in by around about 9/10 of a second, just a little bit less than 1 second. And meanwhile, in PC, David Ostella has really made some inroads into that deficit to the number 8 car. Just a couple of seconds between the number 8 and the number 52, chasing hard in second place.
Yeah, I think Marcelli had a bit of traffic that lap. He went out to a 2:01. Ostella at 1:58 flat. And as you say, the lap, the time between them down to just 2 seconds. There they are on the screen. The 52 car is easy to spot because it has no left-hand rear light. There he is, going into the Jean de Bihan S's, and just ahead of him is the multicoloured car of Marcelli, and Marcelli's held up, and here comes the 52 car in that big white flare of headlights. There are two PC cars absolutely side by side, with the leader going round the outside of them, 3 wide down the back straight, and on the inside, the proper side, going into the corner, is going to be the pass for the position. Yes, it is. Through goes Ostella, the 52.
Wow, what a great move there. He uses the traffic to perfection, does David Ostella. He doesn't have much experience in the sports cars, but he has enough to make that move. Brilliant move there by David Ostella for PR1 Mathiasen Motorsports. Number 52 car is back in the lead in PC, and Kyle Marcelli is going to have to dig deep now. He's had a couple of bad, unfortunate laps with the traffic there, and now he's got to try and fight back again.
Phew, that was so exciting. I've nearly coughed up a lung there. So the gap goes out. Magnificent stuff. And Ostella just impressing me more and more. Now Marcelli, now with target in sight, has picked up his pace a little bit, Jeremy. But he was caught in the hob a little bit there. Clearly he'd had a bad lap the lap before. Maybe he's put a wheel or two off and tried to clean his tyres. Problem is you go offline at this time of the race, and with such a long green flag run, there's going to be so many marbles, the little bits of tyre rubber offline, that it's going to be like driving on ice, and it's probably going to take you a lap to clean your tyres up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was just a little bit unlucky with the traffic coming through.
Yeah, he had a Corvette there.
Coming onto the back straight, and the Audi coming past as well. So there was a lot going on there for Kyle Marcelli, and I think he just kind of caught them at exactly the wrong time. He certainly hasn't given up yet, and he won't give up, because these two guys from Toronto, about 18 months between them in terms of age. We heard from one of our listeners that they were buddies, perhaps, in the karting days, certainly rivals in their karting days, and continuing that rivalry here. But here, look, the car off the road, that is the number 7 car, the team car from Bar 1 Motorsports.
And that is, that's Mitchell behind the wheel, isn't it?
Rusty Mitchell, sixth place in the class. Backed it into tyres there, the exit of turn 10 by the looks of it.
Still got it running though.
For him, good.
Managed to get the clutch dipped and out he goes.
No need for a caution there. Thankfully, 26 minutes to go in the race. Kyle Marcelli in the pit.
And just a note about the head of the field. It looks like Marino's only about 36 seconds now ahead of Ryan Hunter-Reay. So that's come down. So Marcelli in the pit. I didn't expect that.
They all have to make one more. Had to make one more pit stop.
Right. Okay.
We can expect David Estella in, I think, probably.
Well, I'd be in the next lap if I was him.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to get caught the wrong side of a full course caution, do you?
No, that's right. And the last couple of rounds of pit stops, the number 52 car has actually gone a little bit farther than the number 8 car. And that would appear to be the case this time as well, because last time they both came in on lap 298. Marcelli now in on 322, and no sign yet of David Estella onto the pit lane.
Yeah, the level 5's now only separated by 30 seconds. In fact, 29.4 seconds. Ryan Hunter-Reay took 4 seconds out of Marino Franchitti last time around, so that P2 battle is not over, although that is team cars, and I can't imagine Ryan going by the car that his boss is scoring points in, but stranger things have happened.
Meanwhile, in GT, that battle, we saw the Ferrari being closed on quite rapidly after the most recent round of pit stops. Milner was really making some inroads there. Those inroads have become markedly less over the last half dozen laps or so. It's really just maybe a tenth or two now that Milner has been able to gain, and the gap as it came across the line last time was 5.2 seconds, almost exactly what it was 4 or 5 laps ago.
Yeah, and Damien Faulkner has managed to stabilise his lap times, although as I say that, he's done an 11.7 last time around, but he's 21 seconds ahead of Spencer Pumpelly. Check that, he's now 19 seconds ahead of Spencer Pumpelly as they go across the line, as Spencer goes across this time. So 24 minutes and 19 seconds. That's going to be quite tight at the end for Damien Faulkner to hang on to second position ahead of Spencer Pumpelly in third. I don't think he's going to fall off the podium there, Damien, but he's going to have his wits about him and nurse that car to the finish if he's going to stay in second place. That's the 66 TRG, second place in GTC.
Yeah, that really is a tall order. No brakes with about 40 minutes to go in the race is what he was faced with. He's done a fabulous job to get it this far and still keep a very, very respectable pace in that car. He's only losing a couple of seconds a lap to Jerome Blekemolen, who's one of the best in the business in this sort of a car. So hats off to Damien Faulkner for fighting hard here. He's not about to give up anything at all. On board here with the
91. Dominic Fox, 93.
Yeah,
you know, if I've had to pick one car this week or today, I've picked the wrong one every time.
And Dominic Farnbach, the other car, the 91 car, did move his way past Richard Lietz in the number 48 Porsche, but very little to choose between those two.
That's why I thought we were seeing that one, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
Richard Lietz just a second and a half behind in the 48 car. Paul Miller Racing, the Chopard Watchers Porsche. Top 6 finish for them is great. Loving that. That is clearly a car to be reckoned with. Wolf Hensler in third place. Falcon Tyres Porsche on the podium ahead of the BMWs. Do you know, I don't think I would have picked 62, 4 and 17 as the... Oh, Blekemolen. No, Damien Faulkner in the pits. Damien Faulkner from second position in the pits. Thought that was Blekemolen there. So this is disaster for the 66 car, and that is second place now, disappearing for this 66 car. And that was a splash of fuel, a very, very small splash of fuel, damage to the right rear corner of that car. So not only the brakes were an issue, but they didn't have enough gas to go. So Damien Faulkner then will lose second position and drop to third. Just no luck whatsoever for Damo. Unexpected splash and dash then for the 66 car, Jeremy, taking Damien Faulkner out of second place. And I've just seen David Ostella in the pit lane, I think.
Yeah, okay, that's right on cue.
So the PC leader in and presumably out, with Kyle Marcelli 26 seconds behind at the line. Yeah, 2:33 is an in-lap.
Yeah, number one car is on the pit lane now as well for its final stop of the race. Here it comes.
Now, they can't take tyres. It's got to be fuel only, and we've got to watch for Christensen when they come out. They come over the wall.
It's a short stop. It is a short stop.
Tyres have been brought out in case. They're doing a little bit of adjustments. What are they doing at the front there? Not so sure. And there they go. It is a short stop. Lena Gade is absolutely right.
It is missing that dive plane on the left front.
Okay, Ben, you are fuel to the end of the race now.
Yeah, fuel to the end of the race. He took on less fuel. Should be in a quicker stop than Tom Christensen. The gap before the round of pit stops was around about 4 seconds. I would expect it to be a little bit more than that once Benoit Trullier gets that car back up to speed.
Which he is doing now, and Tom Christensen has not yet crossed the line. We're still waiting, we're still waiting. This is going to be a much bigger gap for Christensen. Still not across the line, and Trullier is already into the complex of 3, 4 and 5. And there is Christensen across the line now. He was a minute behind, but take a bit of that, take some of that off, obviously, because of the pit lane run. Here is 5.52 in the pit lane. This is Ryan Hunter-Reay from second in P2, 30 seconds behind his teammate Marino Franchitti.
So the half a tank of fuel is all he will need to get himself to the end of the race.
Does Marino need to stop again?
Yeah, I think so.
But again, he had that 30-second cushion, so that should be restored. On board with the Rebellion as we check in on the Michelin Green X Challenge with just under 19 minutes to go. It's the Audi number 1 from the Audi number 2. Bit of a gap opening up in the clean, fast and efficient scores there. Muscle Milk Pickett Racing in third position for the 6 car. In GT, that very frugal 62 Corvette by a hair's breadth from the number 4 Corvette. And in fact, the BMW is not that far back either. Reese cleaner, faster and more efficient, so better scores in each of the categories. Remember, it's the lowest score that is better in the Michelin Green X Challenge. Right, Jeremy, 18 minutes to go. Surely Christensen can't pull this back. It's going to be something in the order of, I think, 20 seconds, maybe more. Ostella and Marcelli's only 5 seconds. In GT, it's 4 seconds between Marcelli and Milner.
3.8 last time around.
There you go.
Yep. First time it's been below 4 seconds.
Blengermolen and Pumpelly are now first and second, with Damien Faulkner now trying to hang on. He's only 45 seconds ahead of Sean Edwards in 4th position. I think Damo should be able to do that. Fingers crossed he does. Really deserves a podium there. And in P2, that'll have gone out to about 1 minute and 10. So it is 19 seconds, 19 and a half seconds for Christensen. So that wasn't a bad gas. I can't see him getting that back, Jeremy, to be honest. So the old car beats the new car.
Yeah, right. And in GT, 3.2 seconds that time, so half a second pulled in by Tommy Milner in the PC, 4.6 seconds between Ostella and Marcelli. Again, 4/10 quicker was Marcelli on that lap than Ostella. So both of these battles are going on. We've got, what, 16 minutes now to go.
This is going to be another one of those last laps where we're going to be watching three things at once, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
We did say, and you know, it's been a chess match for 11 hours and 45 minutes. Now, this is the replay of the change of lead in the PC category. The car on the right was second. That's the Estella car. Got himself into position nice and early, and then going into turn 17 at Sunset, made the move down the inside of the Corvette that had just slightly held up Kyle Marcelli, and the pass was made. Wow, big slide by Ostella as he went through 17, but he kept his foot in, and he still holds a 4.6 second lead. 3.1 between the GTs, Malucelli and Tom Milner. 20.9 seconds, Trellier Christensen. That isn't coming down. There is Malucelli.
There is the Corvette.
There is the Corvette. That's nowhere near. That's nowhere near 3 seconds. There must have been an issue for the 62. Let's have a look back. There is oh, he's gone round he's put himself on the outside of, that is one of the TRG cars. No, it's not. It's one of the Tully's coffee cars. And he's put himself on the outside of turn 1. It was the number 10 car of Michael Avenatti. You really don't want to put yourself on the outside at this stage in the game. And now Matteo Malucelli on the comeback drive for Risi Competizione, their first race back in the American Le Mans Series. And he's got Tom Milner for Corvette. What an up and down day it's been for Vette.
And his tail up now is Tommy Milner. He has to watch the 01 car go through there, but was that
he's gone off the road. The Ferrari's gone off the road at turn 10, and there's a new leader in GT. Tom Milner has gone through. Malucelli has put the car into the scenery.
Okay, catch him up.
Okay, catch him up, it says. But there is the visual confirmation. Those very distinctive cat's eyes at lights of the 458. Now look ahead, and it's a break point missed by Malucelli, as simple as that at turn 10, Jeremy. No help or assistance given there. That is, I'm afraid, driver error.
Yeah, it would certainly appear that way. The prototype was in there, but I think you've got to assume that Malucelli was off the road. I don't know. Well, he was off the road for sure. I don't think he got any help. We don't know that for certain, but they have a new leader again now in GT. That would be Tommy Milner. Fantastic comeback by those guys in that number 4 Corvette. They've really driven their hearts out today, and they've got back. They made a deficit of, what, more than a minute. Well, they had a minute penalty that they've had to overcome. They've done that now, back in the lead with less than 15 minutes to go.
The two Audis are separated by 17.5 seconds as Christensen puts in a 48.7 to a 52.1. There's a lot of odd times popping up at the moment. I'm wondering if there's something out there on the circuit, whether there's been a bit of dirt thrown down, or maybe somebody is dropping some oil or some fluid somewhere.
There's certainly been some dirt put down, because the 62 guy just pulled a fair bit of it onto the road, didn't he, there in turn 10. You know, it's really, really tricky conditions out there right now. You've got you're blinded by lights, you're getting tired by this stage in the race for sure, and so it's very, very, very easy to make any sort of a mistake at all, and it could be costly.
David Ostella has pulled out 6.2 seconds on Kyle Marcelli. 57.9 to a 58.9, a full second in that last lap by the number 52 car over the 8PC, 9th and 10th overall. Milner and Malucelli still battling for GT. Pumpelly 32 seconds away from Blakemolen, but taking great gobs of time out of him. 2 seconds the last time around. Faulkner 41 seconds in hand in third place over Sean Edwards in fourth. It's in the GTC
about another
battle.
20 seconds back to Jan Halen in 5th place in that class in GTC.
Marino Franchitti has got 1 minute and 12 seconds on Ryan Hunter-Ray in the all level 5 battle at the head of the field. And Piers Phillips, the engineer on that car, will be very happy indeed to have got that car home in the lead.
You will, and up in third place overall, third and fourth overall, remains the battle for the contenders that will be doing all of the P1 races in the American Le Mans Series presented by Tequila Patron this season. Neil Jarney still leads in car number 12, the Rebellion Lola Toyota, but Klaus Graf in that car number 6 for Muscle Milk Racing, the HPD, has not only got back onto the lead lap, he's now within about 70 seconds of Jarney and closing very quickly, pulling at 4 seconds on him that lap. I would presume that Neil Jarney is just cruising at home. He doesn't, as long as he doesn't do anything silly, he's got things well in hand. But it's certainly been a great effort by the Muscle guys to come back from not 1 but 2 penalties and a lost wheel to get themselves back at least on the same lap as the number 12 car.
Monticelli's just hanging on there. He's just not letting Tommy Milner get away, but I'd like to see him a bit closer than that to put a bit of pressure. Young American.
6 laps.
6 laps they reckon now to go. I think they're probably round about right. David Estella still now 8 seconds ahead of Kyle Marcelli. Has Kyle given everything? Half the Continental tyres given everything on that 52 and 8 car. Who has managed the brand new rubber in that Continental Tyres Prototype Challenge Series best with still 11 minutes to go?
Yeah, the drivers in that number 52 car, David Cheng, Michael Gouache and David Ostella, they've got a grand total of 6 ALMS starts between them under their belts coming into this race. Gouache, however, he's got the most. He's done 5 of those starts and won twice with Memo Gidley a couple of years ago in the PC class. David Cheng has 1 race only under his belt. That was a couple of years ago. He finished then on the podium, so they're trying to come away with another victory for that PR1 Matheson Motorsports team. And with an 8-second advantage now, and David Estella really in the groove there. They're looking quite good.
Inside the last 10 minutes, Jeremy. Bleekemolen by 32 seconds now on Pumpelly. So Jerome Bleekemolen is going to make it 2 big races in a row for Alex Job Racing. Won the GT category of the Rolex 24 Daytona for Audi, and heading towards victory certainly in the GTC category here at the Mobil 1 12 Hrs of Sebring, fueled by fresh from Florida with the venerable Porsche 911 in the 50th anniversary year of that great street and race car.
We had confirmation from the pits a few laps ago that the number 62 car was good to go on the fuel. We had surmised that. Number 4 car, it's certainly a bit closer. They should be able to make it. There were 58 minutes to go in the race when they made their last pit stop, and they've been doing around about an hour, a little bit more, a little bit less. So it's certainly much closer for the number 4 car, but these guys have been around this sport a little while, all the guys at Corvette races, so I'm sure they'll have a handle on that. They'll be telling Tommy Milner exactly how much fuel he's using, how much he needs to get to the end of the race, and I'm sure that is in hand. I'm fairly confident that the number 4 car does not need to stop, but that is really probably the closest guy that has to struggle on fuel.
There would be an irony if it did have to stop or they ran out, because don't forget, cast your mind back to Petit Le Mans a few years ago when a Ferrari was in the lead of the race and on the very last lap ran out of fuel almost within sight, and the Corvette went through for its first and only victory of that season, and the championship in that moment passed from Ferrari to BMW. So we have seen things change at the very last, and the measuring systems that we all use in motorsport and the flow rates and the fuel numbers are, yeah, kind of, aren't they? They're not absolute. As Monticelli goes through now, just 2 seconds away from the lead. But it looks comfortable. I've got to say, it looks comfortable for Tommy Milner, and he's not getting the pressure from that Ferrari, who's trying to get by one of the Flying Lizard Porsches at the moment, trying not to lose any more ground.
That'll cost him a little bit of time there through turn 5.
Certainly did.
Well, at the front of the field, the gap between the 2 leaders, it was 20 seconds or thereabout, 19 seconds after the pit stops. It's now down to just under 12. I'm sure that Treluet is just biding his time there. 1:52 that time around. That's a pretty slow lap from him. Christensen, the previous lap, down to 1:48.6.
Treluet's done a couple of 52s recently. It's down to 12 seconds.
Christensen also. So again, you know, the conditions are very tricky out there. You cannot afford to take any chances at this stage in a race.
Six and a half minutes left to go. On board with the leader in GT, Tommy Milner. Let's have some thoughts from you, Jeremy, as much as we can, with a couple of the classes still up for grabs, certainly this GT category. Let's start with GTC. Another great battle, and all right, not the barnstorming finish we were expecting, but Blake Mullen looks like he's going to take the battle for Alex Job Racing. Before we do that, let's chronicle the up and down day of the number 4 GM Chevy Corvette. Electrical problems for Richard Westbrook brought him into the pit lane. They had to cut one of the wires because there was smoke going on in there. They've had a number of issues with the officials. Got a stop and 60 penalty, and yet they have fought back, and they are getting the Hard Charger award today. Let's check in with the P2 leader. Marino Franchitti celebrating the arrival of baby Luca last Friday, and an addition to our community and a loss to our community last Friday, with Carl Eric Christensen, Tom's dad, passing away, and Luca Franchitti arriving. Looks like Marino is going to take that one ahead of his teammate. Now let's go back to GTC, Jeremy. 33-second lead here, and this will be a little delightful double for Alex Job Racing after the Rolex 24 at Daytona.
Yeah, that's right, it absolutely will, and a second consecutive win here as well in the 12 Hours of Sebring for this team. So remarkable. They won 2 they were last year. You're going to have to be content with just one, just the win this time.
I think that's all right, isn't it?
All right.
Yeah.
And also for Jerome Blakemole, just his 20th start in the American Le Mans Series, looking to score victory number 12. 12 out of 20, that's not a bad record.
Really? That is a remarkable strike rate, isn't it? I think in GT, BMW 4th position for Jörg Muller, and 7th for Joey Hahn for the new cars. I think they'll be relatively happy with that. It could have been a bit better, in fairness.
I think all sorts of fabulous stories in GT. The SRT Vipers have been magnificent. Haven't quite lasted the pace at the end, but still a fantastic effort in a very, very tough motor race.
5th place for
Falkenbanger. And the Falcon Tires Porsche as well, come away with a podium. They'd be thrilled with that. They're going to be a lap or so down in 3rd place, but hey, that's a lot better than we might have expected coming into the week.
And Jeremy, in a race that's only had 4 full course cautions, so they haven't been helped out by the pace of the race coming back to them. That is a genuine position. I think they'll take that and run with it for the rest of the season. For me, the fight back from Corvette in GT is fabulous, but I want to have a word for Matteo Malicelli. Okay, a little mistake there in the end that has passed the lead to Tommy Milner, who was bearing down on him anyway, and that's not over yet, by the way. But I think we found a right little star here for Risi Competizione on their return. And at the front of the field, of course, that 12-second gap between Treluet and Christensen, tantalisingly close for the 2013 car from Audi, but it will be the young Chargers. The guys have been doing all the winning recently who take this one. But a flag up, Jeremy, the battle between Rebellion and the Muscle Milk guys. It's under a minute, you know, again for Klaus Graf, and again without it's all ifs and ands, I know, but clean races, shorter races. we go to a very different track after this, Long Beach and then Master Raceway Laguna Seca. I'm looking forward to that ALMS battle between the 12, the 13 and the 6, and hopefully the Dyson as well for the rest of the season. I know we're not going to have both of the Rebellion cars all year, but it looks to me as though Muscle Milk have got a real battle on their hands.
I think so. That has been the fastest car this week, but yeah, and they've been sort of switching around between specifications as well on that car, so there's a lot of options there. That is going to be a good battle, and both teams have really done a fine job here. Those 2 penalties very costly for Muscle Milk Racing, but the car has been fast, the drivers have done a very nice job, the team has been exemplary, so hats off to those guys. There is the white flag. One more lap around for Benoit Trullier in car number 1.
Audi only beaten in competition twice of the times that they have entered the Sebring 12 hours, once by Porsche and once by Oreca, Hugh de Schonach's company. But this weekend it has all been about the celebrations of Audi, bringing their past cars and past drivers to relive those previous glories. So in some way, perhaps, given that they've been looking back at their history, that it's the 2012 car that will take it from the future, the 2013 car. Although interesting, it's the younger set of drivers that are in that car. Lena Gate will have another major victory on her engineering CV as Benoit Trullier comes through with over 10 seconds at the line from Tom Christensen in second place. Despite this win, Jeremy, I honestly don't think that Audi Sport will be that happy. I don't think it was a clean enough run for them. I don't think it was dominating enough run for them, and I don't think it has sent shivers down the spine of the guys at Cologne, and by that, of course, I mean Toyota, who they will be racing in a month's time at Silverstone. Yeah, I have to agree with you. I know there's certainly the 2 guys are going to be particularly disappointed here. Are going to be Tom Christensen and Alan McNish, who really did have very high hopes of a second win in a row. Number 7 it would have been for TK, number 5 for Alan McNish, but it doesn't look that way, John. Here comes the leader, and he's just gone past the Corvette, so there'll be no extra lap for the GT battle. It's Trullier who brings the number 1 Audi home, along with Marcel Fessler and Ollie Jarvis. Through goes the GT winner, Tommy Milner, who wins it by a very small margin. The 52 car going through there as well. That was the PC category winner. David Ostella's done a great run in that final category. There's smiles on the face of Ollie Jarvis and the Audi crew. There are smiles and I think sighs of relief from the guys in the number 4 Audi crew. Damien Faulkner has come to a dead stop out on the circuit on the last lap around. This is the 3rd place car. He will lose the podium here. I think Sean Edwards has gone through and he's dropped to 4th position. Zero look for TRG, and Damien Faulkner and Jeremy Shaw shakes his head. Yeah, the last lap was really slow. I don't know what the problem was. It was 2:28 for Damien Faulkner last time around. Looks like it's not going to reach the finish line. What a heartbreaker. I wonder if they didn't put enough fuel in at the end there. Marino Franchitti claims 6th position overall, but more importantly, the P2 victory for the 551 Piers Phillips car, and of course for new baby Luca and Holly back at home, as well as his teammates. Scott Tucker drove both the cars. Scott Tucker drove 195 laps in this race. That was a pretty decent stint, split between the 2 cars, obviously. But Ryan Briscoe, Marino Franchitti and Scott Tucker taking the victory ahead of their teammates. Not the absolute barnstorming finish that we've seen in the past, Jeremy, but for me, enough to keep me interested throughout that 12 hours. And just, what, half a dozen cars who won't have made it to the end? Yeah, there weren't many dull moments, were there? Well, we'll wrap it up with some of the winners' interviews. There are your class winners for the 61st annual Mobile One 12 Hours of Sebring.
Make sure you join Motors TV this Friday, March the 22nd, for a look back at the USA P1 Superstock Championship. The season review beginning at 6:10, and it's followed by a trip to New Zealand for the Group A division of the World Jet Sprint Championship from Wanganui. More of the very best flat-track motorcycle action comes to Motors TV this Friday, March the 22nd, when the high-speed television channel heads to Insel in Germany for the latest round of the FAM Ice Speedway Gladiator Series, beginning at 8:20 in the evening.
Well, take a deep breath, because the 61st annual Mobile One 12 Hours of Sebring has come to a conclusion. It's a win and a second place for Audi, the 1 and the 2 car in positions 1 and 2. It's kept us riveted all the way through the last 12 hours. The atmosphere in pit lane already electric, and we've got to talk to some very happy people. When I say we, I mean our broadcast colleagues, of course, as Trellier brings that #1 car in very slowly. He collected a lot of debris on the tyres, and the thumbs up from him to the rest of the team. It's not been a clean run for any of the winners here today. They've all had their difficulties. Audi, the level 5 guys, David Estella, thumped up the back by the Klaus Graf prototype. Corvette, well, what an up and down day for them. Just 2.7 seconds the winners ahead of Risi. And in GTC, a real heartbreaker for Damien Faulkner, finally finishing 5th. But there are some great stories and some smiling faces, and Brian Till can get amongst them now with the Audi guys celebrating in pit lane.
Benoit Trillier just climbs out of the car. Oliver Jarvis here. Marcel Fessler celebrating the victory. Looking for my camera that's been lost back there. Hey guys, give me a... Things are getting stretched a little bit. I'm going to bring Benoit in this direction. Absolutely spectacular. The last 2 years at Le Mans, this group has found victory. The World Championship last year in WEC with Audi. Benoit celebrating with his teammates. Benoit, you started this race, you finished this race. The emotion on that final lap, knowing the victory was yours.
Yeah, it's really great. I'm really happy. My mates, my team did a really great job. We had a fantastic car, and we just enjoying the car, the big emotion in every corners. It was just great, you know, it's just super cool to be here. My first win in America, thanks to America, thanks to my mates, thanks to my team, thanks to everybody.
And Marcel, you've been here before. You've been in the American Le Mans Series. You tasted the champagne at Le Mans, but you take your first victory here at Sebring. You're known as being steady and fast and the anchor guy, but you put it on the pole to claim the pole and the victory here at Sebring. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's just a great day, I think, for all of us of the team. And it was really so tight with our sister car, and I think everyone could win, but we were a little bit more lucky in the end. Both of my teammates, they did an awesome job, and the team, great pit stops, everything. Really, really happy day for us.
And for Oliver Jarvis, I think you're going to move to Florida, because this year in Florida has been very good for you and for Audi. You take the victory in GT at the Rolex 24, and now in the final American Le Mans Series event at Sebring, you take the victory. How special is this? 2 wins for Audi in Florida this year for you.
This has been an amazing start to the year. I think I need to move here, like you say, give myself a drive. I've had the best start to the year I could ever hope for, and what a race. Benoit, Marcel, it's been a privilege to drive with them. You know, they normally drive with Andre Lotra. I've been fortunate enough to come in, and I couldn't have had 2 better teammates, so a huge thanks to them, and of course Audi and all the guys.
And congratulations to Audi. It is going to be a big celebration here tonight, I'm sure, and it's a very common theme here at Sebring. Audi dominates and takes the victory.
Very brave Brian Till down there in the customary media scrum around Audi. Ollie Jarvis has had a cracking start to his year, hasn't he?
Absolutely amazing. Really has done a fantastic job. The pressure was on him here.
Let's head down to the GT story. Tommy Milner takes it in the end. It was a late drive back through the field for the number 4 Corvette, Jamie Howe.
And it's an excited look of disbelief on the face of Tommy Milner as he gets the congratulations from the team boss, Doug Feehan. Tommy, that's a lot of trust to put into the hands of you to take this home to the checkered flag. What does this win mean to you?
It's huge. It's huge. I've come close here at Sebring multiple times, but to be here with Corvette Racing, 15th year of the ALMS, sort of last year as it exists now, to get the win in that fashion is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
It was a great fight. Congratulations. And for your co-driver, Oliver Gavin, you guys are defending a championship. You're starting it off in championship fashion. You've won here before. How is this one different?
Oh, this one was just the best because it was just, you know, Tommy was coming, catching the Ferrari the whole way. It was super, super close. It had us all, you know, biting our nails, but so proud of the team today. Corvette Racing did an amazing, amazing job. Pit stops are gaining us time all the time, and it's just fantastic to win this Sebring 12 Hours with Tommy and Richard. First win with Richard here at Corvette Racing. Really proud of everybody today.
It's also the first win at Sebring for Richard Westbrook, your first win with Corvette Racing. Coming here to Sebring as a third driver, how excited are you?
It's just unbelievable. I mean, you just hear the atmosphere here. I'm just so proud to be part of Team Chevy, and Tommy, what he did at the end was extraordinary, but also a big thanks to our crew here because we nailed every single pit stop, and they took me from 4th to 1st in one stop, and they were just the best all day. And I'm glad they're not all like that, but that was just amazing. I'll never forget this day.
You guys all earned this one with great pit work. It was teamwork. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sports car racing, endurance racing, motor racing is a team sport in and out of the car, and the guys behind and over the wall for Pratt & Miller certainly made their mark today. Problem solving and getting the guys through the pit stops in style. There's confirmation of Corvette ahead of Risi by a couple of seconds. What a result for the Falcon Tyres Porsche in 3rd position. Competitive all day. Good result on debut for Bill Oberlin and his BMW, and rounding off the top 6, SRT for the Viper as well. Let's head down to the Prototype 2 winners. Marino Franchitti has had a big 7 days, a win and a new addition to the family. Kelly?
Well, Scott Tucker has now won the 12 Hours of Sebring 4 years in a row, but we've got 2 first-time winners in the P2 class, Ryan Briscoe and Marino Franchitti. And Marino, for you, you've got a shiny new trophy to bring home to your new son.
Yeah, I was thinking that's definitely for baby Luca there and my wife Ollie. It's fantastic, just delighted, but obviously thanks to Level 5 and Scott Tucker for having us here. Ryan, both Ryans in both cars, Simon Pagino, it was a great team effort this weekend. I think you saw in qualifying and in the race with the speeds of the car, they were completely tied together. So this Ironman, I think, has done 6 hours and 45 minutes. So he's putting us young guys to shame. But fantastic. Finished second here 3 times, and to finally get the victory, I'm delighted.
Congratulations. For you, Scott Tucker, as he just said, a monster. 2 stints in both cars for you, over 6 hours. Talk about the effort you put in today.
We kind of planned on that, and I just wanted to prove it to myself that I could do it. And the team did a great job. Both Ryans, Marino, Simon. I mean, we really put this thing all together at the last minute, but we're well-deserved for everybody's hard work.
And for Ryan Briscoe, who's seen the pole at the Indy 500, where does a win here at the 12 Hours of Sebring rank in your racing career?
Oh, it's awesome. I've tried twice here before and didn't come close. I mean, this place is challenging. It's physical. It's hard on equipment, and true testament to all the guys at Level 5 and Honda HPD for putting this program together. And these cars just ran strong all day long. So it's an honor. I'm really excited to be here. Great to get my first win.
Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you.
First and second for the Level 5 Operation 551 from 552. A word for Piers Phillips as well, the engineer on the 551 car. And a very good result for Greaves Motorsports, led by Tom Kimber-Smith, along with Christian Zergel and Eric Lux, the 41 car on the Dunlop tyres, coming home in 3rd position. In Prototype Challenge, another nail-biter at the end. It was 15 seconds. It could have been a lot less, as the 52 car takes the victory, and Chris Neville has the happy team.
Yeah, and Prototype Challenge, it was back and forth all day, the 05, the 9, the 52, and in the end, it was Bobby Oracle's group that comes away with the victory. And David Ostello, wow, what a great week for you before Monday. You had never seen this place, but you got some laps here and you kept the car out front.
Yeah, it was amazing. You know, first time here in the American Le Mans Series with the Continental tires, and, you know, this car was just hooked up all race. The team did an awesome job. Got to thank PR1 Motorsports. And David Chang and Michael Gouache, you know, they drove what they had to do. They did what they had to do on the track and got what was done. We kept our heads down, made as little mistakes as possible, and we ended up on top.
And David Chang, just 23 years old. This team took some hits today. You guys got hit on the first lap. You also got hit mid-race by Muscle Milk, but you guys still kept the thing out front.
Man, it was an exciting race, and you know, the team put together such a great strategy for us, and that's really what got us the win here. I mean, every time we were down, the team gave us a great strategy to crawl back into the lead. And in this last 2 hours, I was just praying to baby Jesus. I mean, these Continental tires work so great. And we really calculated what the prime of these tires are. And that's what really, in the last 15 minutes, got us the win.
Mike Gouache, you're starting to build a pretty good batting average here. You won 2 years ago. This is your third running now. You're your fourth running now. Third running now. You won 2 years ago. Dane Cameron. You're starting to build a pretty good resume here at Sebring.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. 2 out of 3 right now. So it was a great run. David and David, you know, the two Davids did excellent. You know, we all did our jobs. Bobby put together a great strategy. You know, great job for Bobby Oracle and PR1, and the Continental tires were awesome. And they worked fantastic. So very happy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, big day for Continental tires, and they did their debut in Challenge. Great job, guys.
And confirmation of the results in the Continental Tires Prototype Challenge. There are the PR1 guys at top. PR1 Motorsports in second. Could have been a little bit better for them. Didn't have a lot of luck. Stefan Johansson did a good job for them. And how about third place for Performance Tech, celebrating 500 years of the great state of Florida, and on the podium of RSR Racing, defending champions Core Autosport in 5th position. In GTC, there's a sort of deja vu about this one. Another double winner in the big 2 races of the year. GTC won by Alex Job Racing. The winners with Andrew Marriott.
Yes, indeed, and Jerome Bleeker-Molen, a great drive, and it was quite tight at the end, but Damien Faulkner had a problem, and you went by him.
Yeah, I mean, we were on a bit of a different strategy, so it all looked good. It's been an awesome week. Since we started here on Monday, testing the car's been so good. And the race went really well. I mean, unfortunately we had a puncture, so we dropped a lap, but the guys ran really fast and we got it back, and in the end I just had a great car and fantastic.
And moving over to Dion. Dion, you won at Daytona, now you won here.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's both with Alex Job Racing and the WeatherTech car, and I couldn't be more thankful to Alex. He puts together an amazing team. I've always had amazing co-drivers in both races, and that's what it really takes. It takes perfect execution, perfect strategy. Greg Jones up on the box really made some great calls, and they gave us a great car. And Jerome, for the last 3 hours, has put in an amazing drive, and you know, I can't say enough. It was really, really special here.
And the big man himself, Cooper McNeil. Cooper, I think you've got some big plans for Europe later, but this is a special day for you.
Yeah, it is. It feels great to get this win after last season. We won the championship, but ended at Petite with a couple problems that we ended up farther back than we would have liked. But like Jerome said, we had the puncture early, but battled back. All of us put in great stints, and it just goes under the saying that it ain't over till it's over.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Andrew. Andrew Marriott and the rest of the pit lane crew doing great job for us. There is the confirmation of the GTC. Lizards coming home second as they return to the American Le Mans Series. NGT Motorsport scooping up the third and the 30 car. And long-time leader Damien Faulkner dropping down to 5th, coming to a halt on the final lap. 6th and 7th for the debutant team, Dempsey Del Piero Racing. I think we'll hear a little more of those 2 cars throughout the rest of the season. Jeremy Shaw, another great race here at Sebring with plenty of stories. I mean, it's a whole season of stories in one day as we check the Michelin Green X Challenge results.